DRX and PaperX, seeing the first of PaperX in this tournament.
Yeah, I think especially with a lot of teams that we know and love not being here, to see two teams that have played against each other at previous Masters, with DRX being a fairly convincing victor as well, and knowing for the fact that these two teams are scrim partners, so they play against each other quite regularly. I spoke to their team manager, Nikhil, told me that they stopped doing that a month ago. So they've only had a month to try and completely adapt for each other going into this tournament, and well, I feel like there's not been a massive adaptation because Forsaken running at you that's a common theme.
Yeah, this guy's coming in with confidence right off the bat. Jing on the Reyna is going to be taking control to the C side, and so much pressure on DRX right now. That flank coming in on C was a guaranteed trade,
look at the
but
defenders.
Jing took it out immediately, and DRX, they've just left because they've got this massive flank coming in. Are PaperX ready for it? Well, they're actually going to push into the spawn, and now they'll have a pretty good idea, Tom, because there's no other players here, and they've seen them coming down through long. This is a complete role reversal for the teams.
Yeah, they were ready for this. They were watching their flank almost immediately. Jing just going ham. We question maybe that Reyna pick coming through, and Mako almost brings it home. Now, I will say, one of the things that really excited me so far in this tournament is, okay, I've seen duelists at the top of the stats board.
Yeah.
I'm bored of it. Bored of it. I've had enough. I've seen Sentinels, you know, that Nats guy, you remember him?
He's all right,
He's pretty good. He was at the top. I don't think I've seen a controller at the top before.
No.
And not someone playing as consistently well as Mako has throughout this tournament so far. So, yeah, they lost the round. Yeah, PaperX, Jing, he's popped off on the Reyna, which is basically his only job. There's not much else for this man. He literally has to just frag. There's no other value really of that agent. Oh, I've got a little flash that they can shoot. No, we don't really care about that. Clutch is pretty good too. But ultimately, that's what they're going for. They're going for brute force. They're going for firepower. And I think that's my favorite thing about these two teams. They scrim against each other, yet they couldn't be more different.
This is the beautiful thing. We saw DRX attempt that flank down A. They gave up control of C. That was a very good plan, leaving Stacks to late play the utility, but they couldn't get anything done with it. Now, in this round, they're obviously on an eco, and so PaperX are going to roll all over them, just farming up those orbs. You've even got Benkai sat in the spawn, and he's in a bit of trouble, actually, going down, but that will be the only kill for DRX. That pistol, though, really set the tone for me, because you've got DRX attempting a decently aggressive round, giving up C, fighting down A, and pushing up for the early flank, but PaperX took it to another level entirely, fighting into the spawn, removing Stacks, the utility that was set up, and that means for DRX now, they cannot come into this buy round and say, all right, yeah, we can give up space and fight around it, unless they have some serious protocols for how they're going to stop PaperX from continuing to push forward.
The thing as well for PaperX, they need to have a solid attack. Not only are they an incredibly good attack team on this map, but DRX, last 4 times they played it, 8 rounds plus on the attacking side, Mitch.
So we had an upgrade here for Forsaken, which is fine. He had a pistol, you know, go to the Vandal, sure, but Devi's done the same, investing all of his economy into this. That's an interesting play for them right off the bat. Jing with ult online already. That Empress could be huge to really bridge the gap between these rifles and this Spectre. We'll see exactly how that plays out. Right now, a lot of control being fought for inside of Garage, but PaperX will ultimately take it, and now they're in a bit of a duel, and that Vandal's being spotted. Forsaken closing in on the site. There's the Lear up above, but the blind is perfect. It's going to catch Forsaken and the rest of the team, but then down goes Buzz, and now they can actually skirmish for the backside. If Jing gets this kill, he can even heal right back up. This is so dangerous for Mako. He's got to take them down on the way through, and he gets both.
Holding as the rock, but Devi has managed to turn things back to an even scenario. Timing here is going to be everything. Benkai is sneaking his way through the smoke, but he's got a man coming in from behind. RB still available, but he'll clear the first. He can't quite get rid of RB. And now Devi left alone. He doesn't have himself the spike, but instead he's going to go looking for that fight. Dinked up on the other side, tries to hold the angle, but he can't face off against RB. A somewhat bonus round, Mitch, but it is still only 1 player. So even if there's a bit of a weaker buy here for PaperX, I assume there's going to be the same for DRX.
Absolutely. No, look, with the damage that PaperX just output for what is ultimately, because of the economy that Forsaken had built up, keeping the pistol through the second round, and I'm not even sure if he reinvested into shields, but either way, he has money to buy. It's one guy who doesn't have a rifle here, and to come out into a 1v1 scenario in the end, in that sort of scenario, especially considering Mako got that double kill backside. If he's traded there, that is a round lost.
They did do the trade kind of weird. Like I know why, because they wanted to heal up as well. That was the point of Jing going in second, but considering he was 15 HP, a lot less chance of him getting that trade kill. So a bit of a risk for PaperX that I will say it personally I'm not a fan on. I get it because he popped the ult. That's
exactly.
the
It's just one of those rounds, right? It comes close to it. It ends up falling apart in the end, but with 2-1 on the board, PaperX have got their buy up here. Devi's going to play the Sheriff, and he's got his Hunter's Fury to work with. He's going to be clearing out a lot of control for them with the utility when they do go to the push. And for now, that seems to be taking place towards A. Trap wire covering C long, smoke coming in, and all the players are stacked up. But the control they've given up, well, they've shoehorned themselves into this one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Devi actually has his ult. So realistically, if they can get a plant down, he can just sit back even though he doesn't have a weapon and actually just try and play those post plants. Actually, no. He's going to use it proactively. Blind coming through. Forsaken dashes into the side of the back of it. And I think actually the flash then blinds up RB, but he still manages to get a kill off the back of it. Another peek coming through. Mako still just swinging. But it turns back into a pretty awkward position now. Devi left with just a pistol, and Stax will trade both out. DRX, it could have been a close round for them, but they managed to hold on.
Great coordination coming out of Mako and RB. That decision from RB to dash onto the site comes off the back of the paranoia online for Mako, and his paranoias have been on point. We saw it already save lives on the C site when the initial push came in the previous round, and right here it allowed them to hold control of A. If they have to play a retake there, that's a really tough round to play against. And considering PaperX caused so much chaos with that Hunter's Fury, which did actually end up tagging RB as well, it's why he ended up playing the dash, because he got revealed behind a smoke. He was dead 100% if he didn't, and the decision to dash forward, risky as it was, paid off tenfold because of that quick reaction. DRX already showing that they're capable of dealing with the fast pace that PaperX are putting out. That's the wrong logo.
Yeah,
don't think they've scrimmed optics.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it's a complete substitution. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we'll be switching that up, I'm sure, in just a moment. It's the Red Bull, not the Green Bull.
We got a little chrono break coming in here. Tech pause for the teams. I'm sure they'll be back up and online any second now, Tom. Hey, it worked the other day, so.
Oh, okay, so they're rolling things back. I was looking at Jing at one point in that round, and I was like, either he's clearing stuff by just walking over, or he completely disconnected. And I was like, he played up, but I guess they must have actually disconnected throughout that. So I think they're going back to try and sort that round out. I'm sure that's something that is going to be spoken about. I honestly, I'm disappointed he hasn't played the entire map in his outfit.
So this is an interesting scenario then. We're going to be resetting to 2-1. I've got confirmation. Yeah. So going back around here, giving PaperX a second lease of life really coming into that round where they've got a lot of rifles. That's something for DRX that is definitely going to be a bit of a blow to the mental, having to come right back on into that one. There's some connectivity issues that we're now.
Yeah, the thing is, if it was any other team, I might have some worry, but I feel like DRX have proven that they're incredibly mentally strong, not only within their own region, but at this tournament in general. They've not really, like, obviously they've been in very dominant maps, so I guess you could argue that they haven't had to show their fortitude by coming back into a game. But at the same time, you can also look at it by the fact they haven't taken their foot off the gas at any moment. Like, they could be 10-2 in the lead versus Zeta 11-1 in the lead. Did they let them back in a little bit? Did they go, oh, let's not show to... No, they just destroyed them. Yeah. They just obliterated them. And that's the one thing, like, going into this map, we haven't seen any changes on the side of DRX, and I'm very glad of that. Because this composition when they played up against Zeta was absolute filth. I think Buzz has basically given me faith in the Korean Killjoy, which is not something I would say when he was the Korean Jet. Like, he was one of the best. We still see it when he plays Icebox. He switches up onto that agent and is phenomenal. But I feel like the roles within this team now look a lot more stellar. You got Stax as one of the best initiators in the entirety of the game. Whether you think that DRX are going to be challenging for the title or not, that man's value for this squad is... I don't even know if there's many teams that can even compare. So I'm excited to see how they actually look to try and win this round for a second time, and if there will be an adaptation for PaperX, because there would be one hell of a flex if they basically just went and did the same thing again.
Yeah, and you know, Devi coming in, we saw the Hunter's Fury to cover the push through. That is a brave play. It's something I don't expect to see coming through here again, because for the simple reason it relies on the surprise factor, and you won't really have that if you're running it for the second time in a row. And looking over at the DRX side, I guess they have no choice but to play a default. I guess playing like early aggression in a round like this is going to be so risky, knowing the PaperX having already shown an insane amount of pace. It can be a little bit tough to figure out what the right approach is for them.
Yeah, I think as well, like, a lot of the stuff that they got caught out by, I don't know if necessarily repeatable. Like, the fact that we had the dash into the side for Forsaken, he gets an opener off of a nice little set piece. They then just didn't see RB.
Yeah.
Does that happen twice? Probably not, but we're trying to tell the future, and luckily, well, it's not far away.
Yeah, it's starting to come back online here. You see 10 seconds left on the clock. DRX running it back a second time. Not an ideal scenario for the team. You can see their setup. They're spread out into a default. Looks like they want some early A aggression, though. Just take a look at Stax' position. He's set up with some utility stuns going down. There's the peek out of RB, and he's going to try to duel for this control, at least hold the information. Good tag through the wall. Forsaken already down to 68 HP, and that's going to really make Paper X pump the brakes.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone whiff on a recon that hard. That was almost a full clip going out from the side of Paper X. Just couldn't quite clip it, and they almost lose his life for it. That would have been a pretty poor start. Now, they know that there's at least a couple of players already on that A site, so maybe falling back in the other direction has its value. The issue is clearing out Marco so far on the back of C has not been easy, and Forsaken, well, he's already burnt up his dash.
They're about to double peek back in, waited for the flash. That's a good re-peek for Forsaken, but with 68 HP, he was taken down right away. RB on the headshot. Here comes the garage push through the nano swarm. We go stunned through as well. DRX with some great reactions, and the Spectre even winning the duel in garage. And now here's the paranoia from Mako. Already had huge impact, and the players on long are going to be stopped because of it. But watch who's coming out. Benkai running in through the garage. They weren't ready for it. He'll only get the one. Trades back and forth. Mako able to get big work done from the backside. DRX might have had to run it twice, but they've got the round eventually.
Yeah, I also don't like this round anywhere near as much for Paper X. Like, the last was like a set piece, had a nice little sort of, well, you used the ultimate to get you in, you also had the flash to sort of buy you some space, whereas this was basically, hey, can Forsaken get a kill on one side of the map, and can Jin get one on the other? And the answer to both of those was no. Why have you put this in a replay?
Yeah, in fairness, that stun was on point. You know, the rate of fire undoubtedly caused that extra damage to come through for Forsaken. Now, he was headshot when he was taken down, so I don't think it would have made much of a difference either way. Oh no, that's the spike! Benkai got pushed forward, the recon reveals him, and down he goes. Paper X really need to figure that out. Look, they've got pistols here, so we can make excuses, but that's twice now that recon's come back to bite them. Twice in a row, exactly.
Like, and also it's something that, well, you know that there's a recon coming there every single round. Like, nigh on every single round. Maybe once or twice.
It's not a unique play from DRX.
Like, yeah, maybe once or twice Cess will be like, you know, I'll put it in mid, just because they're starting to predict this a little bit too much, and then he'll go back to putting it on long again. So,
well, you'll do that if they keep destroying it, but so far,
yeah, for now, huge amounts of value coming out from a single dart. So, chances of, well, you'd hope chance of that happening again for Paper X slim. Again, the hold out now from DRX, they don't really have to spread themselves too thin, just keeping trades available and everything currently being watched on the other side. Both of them being spotted. So much information, spike and attach into the site, no trades available on the other side, and well, Devi has managed to slightly slip the net, I guess, but good luck.
Yeah, making a pass here. They're expecting it as well. DRX are very much aware of the control that they've given up. That's a prime gaming flawless coming into round 5. Fantastic stuff for DRX, building up that economy. And so far, their reactions have been on point. The utility out of Mako, honestly, just the paranoias that we've seen hit already. He's conserving them for just the right time. The communication seems to be on point. As soon as the util goes out, there's someone there to react on it. And you see that in every aspect of the game, not just with Mako's util, but that recon that's going down out of Zest. They always plan to do something with the utility if you're not going to counter it, if you give them that space. They're not just throwing it out and going, oh yeah, there's a few guys on long, so that's good. No, they want to do something on the back of it.
Yep, we're seeing a tactical pause this time. Come on, there we go. The Paper X logo's formed from the ashes. But no, I think going into this round as well, Paper X again, they obviously the Hunter's Fury that wasn't used this time is now still available to be online. You're also getting a little bit closer to a couple of other ults, but the value's not really there, whereas on the other side, got that lockdown, although I assume Devi's probably just holding on to his Hunter's Fury to make sure that can't bite them in the butt if they get into an afterplant. But I'd like to see them go for a set piece again. Like, I do think that isolating a couple of the players, getting into an afterplant gives a good opportunity. I will say from watching some of the Korean VODs, you do see that DRX are incredibly well timed when it comes to their retakes. They'll hold a lot of utility for it. We even saw it in the round that never happened, is that Marco basically will try and hold on to that paranoia to make sure that they have something to burst back in with. So it's not going to be easy, but I think it'll be easier than this sort of default style, because at least for now, the duels are not going in the direction of Paper X.
I see DRX as we kick off this round looking for a very similar strategy. You can see the players grouped up outside A. You're probably going to have the recon come through. And there's no reason to change it when it's had this amount of success. I want to see Paper X's adaptation, which has to start with breaking that recon, which is on its way through. It's destroyed instantly. On the other side, well, not so much. Paper X have at least managed to take that control without losing anybody this time around.
It does seem like much more of a default scenario. Waiting patiently outside A, looking to try and play this one as a squad. They've tried to dodge the drone, but it hasn't really worked. And in fact, we're actually going to see the unsecurity pop, but they don't expect RB, and he gets 2 from that position. Even manages to use the dash and sticks around. He's just stayed in spot. They haven't managed to force him out, so there's no reason for him to move. Shock darts might do a little bit of damage, but I feel like they're really clutching at straws, and well, he'll even get out unscathed.
Yeah, the flash from Stacks used just to secure that one. An audacious play, you know. I can see the idea behind it. He thought that maybe DRX had rotated to the A site. They'd already given up control of B just the previous round, so he thinks, okay.
Or maybe he can get past the player on the left side.
Yeah, they hadn't really accounted for that. But yeah, if the guy's on the left, right, alarm bot's on left, you maybe get in there, cause another angle for them to worry about, put more pressure on the A players, but yeah, if the guy is stood there, you look a bit silly.
There's so much risk involved. That's the worry I really have with all of Paper X's plays so far over the last couple of rounds. It's like, can Forsaken win this 1v1? Can Jing win this 1v1? And that's not a comfortable spot. Some of the angles that just were left uncleared, like you give RB those opportunities, he's going to dismantle you in a second. And the fact that he was confident enough to go, nah, I'm not going to leave. I'll just sit here. But that's what I mean. It's like a half check. And you're like, you need to be careful of this, because they have been happy to push up. They've been happy to take map control. And then also, I feel like a lot of the duels that we're seeing from Forsaken at the moment are, I have to do everything. There was no one there that could have swung and traded after that kill came through. Sure, most of his team are already dead, but those are still things that really worry me in such an early stage of this map.
You have to look at DRX and how they're playing so far. We've seen the team play element there. We know that this is not a team that gives up advantages. Look at even that last duel. The guy was on a long. They still commit the stun to it. And outside of that, they're showing that they can win individual duels as well. Like we saw just there from RB in the previous round in that corner. That wasn't something like the recon that we'd seen come through before, or utility punishes, or stuns, or anything like that. That was just a straight-up 1v2 duel that he wins. And if you're going to allow DRX to win the individual game, and they're also going to be winning in terms of team play, like their utility punish is huge, then I'm get worried. This is good, though. Forsaken has at least opened up Garage. Mako is in a little bit of danger there, but he's now snuck into the corner.
It was his teammate's utility. Takes a bit of damage, but being in this position just allows a bit more of a crossfire, and Stacks can try and swing out if they do try and run through in that direction. It's slowed down by Paper X, though. They find themselves in a 4v4 after some quick thinking from Forsaken, and because of that, they now just wait, see if anybody overextends, see if anybody goes looking for information. They do, but Marco just isn't missing today. Waiting on the corner, they just can't clear him. A third in this round already, and while trading this one out for Stacks shouldn't be too much of a problem. Already knowing where Bankai is, even stuns him up at the end. Beautiful utility usage. DRX make that one look easy.
Well, they absolutely do. And look, Paper X didn't have the best of weaponry to work with. They came in with a bunch of weaknesses, so another round where these kind of duels for Mako are pretty favorable when you're going to be up against, you know, the majority of the time a Sheriff or something like that. But his shot here was a bit ridiculous. I see now. He saw the tracers. Okay, he saw the little muzzle flash. 5-2. Paper X need to step it up right now because it's their bye round. They've got ultis online, but the same can be said for DRX.
In 7 rounds.
Yeah, pretty good.
He's getting more than 2 kills a round right now.
Get out of my way.
On Omen.
Yeah. And he lost some of the assists as well. I think he got 2 kills in the round that was cancelled. Also had the assists in with the paranoia. You know, he's had a pretty good game so far. Consistency's
a lot of it
there.
as well, at least in early rounds, it's just been him swinging on, killing someone.
Yeah, or stuck back C site, getting pressured, and still taking 1 or 2 every single time.
Okay, this is a pace change. Again, just trying to swing their way through, but Stacks are just waiting on the other side. It's free, and this is what I mean. Like, so reliant on Forsaken to basically do everything there. There was no backup plan. If he gets no kills, he gets no kills. No one can trade, no one can do anything else. So a little bit too much reliance. Oh, that is not the way that dash was meant to go, but luckily for RB, he gets away with it.
We call that one the Yassine dash. That's a little unfortunate, but RB doesn't get punished. He's able to set back up with the operator again. This time, he won't just be seeing the top of their head as they come around. In fact, he'll see nothing because he's blinded, but that will not stop him. Mind Freak. The TP down below. Maybe this won't be expected, especially with the smoke up top. They might think that he's up there. And realistically, though, that's just going to cost them a little bit of time. Maybe some utilities. They come around, they stun, they clear it, and okay, now they know that it's free.
They've got so much, Mitch. They've got a lockdown, a rolling thunder. They've even got a blade storm if they need it. There needs to be a miracle here if Paper X are going to be able to win the round. Now, they're going to expect Benkai on the flank. He's been spotted, but he does manage to take one down. If he can somehow get another, maybe he can destroy that lockdown and give his teammates a chance, but they're not taking that risk. They're falling back. And while he does destroy it, but at this point, they've already given up the same control that they would have done.
Yeah, they didn't know they were going to destroy it for sure, so they had to fall back. Halfway diffused already. Mind Freak's got to swing in, and he's not able to stop them. DRX get away with another, very clean and very calm as well. Yeah. You know, they gave up control of the A side at one point when these players are frozen inside of Garage because they knew, okay, yeah, we can let these guys have the control because Lockdown, Rolling Thunder, all of these ults to play with, and didn't even really end up needing them. Obviously, the Lockdown helped a lot in repositioning the players, locking them out of the site.
It's just so clean. I love watching Buzz play. It's like the rest. It's like there's a floating head. That's all he sees. He doesn't see the rest of the body. It's just insta headshots. That's all he gets.
Gonna play those headshot-only servers. Well, we're right on into round number 9. Operator up to start with. RB's been pretty good at killing people he can't see. Another reveal for the Recon. But nothing followed up on it. Player was in the corner, thankfully. RB in a bit of danger. Lear comes through, and he's on his way, just about making it out. Good trade by Zest, and even blinded up Forsaken will get the kill, turning just in time. 4v3 we go.
Yeah, they don't have to commit off that either. The rest of the team has started to back their way in towards the B site. This is where we find Buzz in his domain.
Where you are.
Information will be garnered, so he's going to have to reposition off of the back of that, make sure that he's not just going to give himself away for free, and instead they're actually going to use the Rolling Thunder just to try and force him out of position. He takes an aggressive angle because of it, and the rest of the team were too far away to do anything. That's a spike down in the middle of the site, and now DRX have regained that control.
You've just heard that Nano Swarm go down as well. Look, there's 50 seconds, so time isn't that much of an issue for them. But I love that Buzz is just letting it sit there, right? They're going to have to get close and try to destroy it. Maybe they're even looking at it as they come in, allows them to kill them. And if not, he can just do that when they start to try to destroy it, pop it, now buy a little bit more time. But Paper Rex are happy to give up time because of the flank coming through from Forsaken. And they have absolutely no idea that this was happening. Now, though, they've heard the shot on the back of the side. It doesn't seem to matter. Mako puts up a good fight, but it is not enough. Benkai surviving on a sliver of health, finding that final kill and putting Paper X back on the board.
Yeah, it took a little bit of time, but we got our Forsaken round.
It took a lot of time. Look at that! Look at that round history. We got 6 in a row for DRX, and this one comes off the back of RB finally being caught out on long. This is what we needed to see.
Yeah, it was a complete shutdown. That was a direct counter for a position that he played previously. A mistake that was made by Paper X that they didn't make again. And to make sure that he was cleared, you just have that duality angle, like playing from above, playing from below. There was absolutely no way RB was getting out of that. Well played by them, good adaptation, and a solid flank as well for Forsaken. I feel like RB still gets an awful lot of opportunities, though. Like, it's very scary watching the near misses that come through for him.
I mean, that could have been Benkai down. If he falls, they lose their flank protection for C, and Garage pushes. That could have been huge. But he survives. Good flash. Nothing converted on the back of it. I think they're going to pop another. Zest is ready for it. Cloudburst goes up, and okay, 1-to-1 trades. Jing going into that operator, and another shot missed. RB not hitting it this round, not so far. That's a lifeline for Paper X, but they still have to find a way to deal with the op because he's missed twice, Tom. Third time, I feel like it will be the charm for him if they give the opportunity away.
Yeah, they've all been very quick attempts to take the shot. Anybody trying to swing this angle now would be in trouble, but They are looking for the gap in the defense. You can already see the rotation start. The smoke's being thrown out just to try and bait them into thinking it's still an A hit, but ultimately, okay, no, there will be a third miss. RB having some issues with that operator, not working out for him at all, and that will now almost confirm that fake. Allows them that little extra bit of space. Buzz, however, drops one as they attempt to cross and keeps it 3v3.
Well, he's such an annoying player. And look at the rotation from Paper Rex on the back of Mindfreak, being able to push up mid-late. He'll destroy this alarm bot, buy them a little bit of extra space, but they might go all the way to A. With the control Mindfreak has, he can try to catch off some of the rotations. He's already done a great job of that on A. I mean, he waited till RB fell asleep holding that angle and then swung in, catching him off guard. A plan secured for Paper Rex here. And not really a clean rotation for DRX. They have to go through the spawn or risk running into Mindfreak. And in fact, they're going to have to run into him because he's just running out looking for duels.
Yeah, some bold mid-round calls coming out from Paper X, but they have worked out this time, leaving Stax and Marco to try and bring this one back, make it just the man himself, Stax, to try and find something. And the first one's for free, though. Makes his way in. Second player will be spotted. Stax has found him as well. He doesn't know where the third is, though. A long rotation from Mindfreak, but he's going to get in behind, and this kill is for free. A nice attempt from Stax, but a fantastic round from Mindfreak.
Yeah, and he gets that off the back of a very quick decision. Once he gets the kill on B, he's instantly running down mid, going through the window, and you could see that Stax was really hoping that he was towards the spawn, probably going to stick it halfway, then swing. That really was a free kill. Yeah, Benkai letting that one slip a little bit. But luckily they had that Mindfreak play to close it out. With that, Paper X push up to 4. The attack side starting to shape up for them. But the problem is, 6 rounds in a row for DRX. They've got cash to spend. So they'll be coming in here with a buy again, and no weaknesses. RB still manages to get the operator up.
Yeah. And they're going to take their time with this one. A timeout, because realistically they know that firstly Paper X are incredibly good at this attacking side normally. So you don't realistically want to give them any of those extra rounds. The other thing as well is if DRX can get this to 8, I would almost be certain they'll win this map. Like just the last 4 times they played this map, 11 rounds on the attack, 9 rounds on the attack, 10 rounds on the attack, 8 rounds on the attack. So if they're getting an 8-4 half, I'm banking on them getting 5. Like, let's put it that way. So especially with the setups, especially with how good Buzz is at actually entering on this Killjoy alongside RB, it's going to be tough for Paper X. However, if they get themselves the last 2 rounds, get a pistol, it's anyone's game. Like, I think they definitely still have their opportunities. The main worry for me is this composition can be incredibly tough to play on the defensive side because they have to be aggressive, because a passive Reyna is worthless.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again, right? This agent gains value from dueling. She is as pure of a duelist as you can really get. Yeah. There was maybe a time where we were like, man, the leaders are pretty good, Flashes, but no.
You could play Lurk because you can heal yourself.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, no. You could, but I don't like it.
Yeah, and when you look at the composition of Paper X, you have the likes of Benkai, and that's his role in this. One thing I'll say is, in terms of the compositions for DRX, they have a much more explosive ult economy. They will win rounds off their ults. Paper X have ults that do not win you rounds the majority of the time. Maybe Device post plant, but other than that, Empress? Yeah, Empress, yeah. The Spectre. Yeah, did so much before,
I just got an angry DM from Lothar. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Honestly, if we keep making him watch Reyna, he's going to look like you by the end of this, but 120 on the clock.
Much more handsome, but yes, I get what you
mean. I'm not saying he would pull it off worse than you, Tom. I'm sorry.
RB's under pressure again. Oh, he actually manages to land. I assume that was a no-scope, or he was incredibly fast. Never mind. Maybe the speed of this man is enough. He's missed a few shots, but he's making up for it in this round. A complete shutdown. Please, no more jumping short. Thank you, Buzz. Thank you, Buzz. Please. Thank you.
This guy's been watching Yumpy. That's 7-4 for DRX, and a very important round that they've now got under their belt. Take a look at Paper X's economy. 3 players not going to be able to buy. In fact, coming into this one, Benkai having to play a Spectre. The others can't even afford shields and a Spectre. And as we said, you don't really get to bridge the gap with ultis.
Okay.
That's one way to do it.
We've seen that 2 days in a row.
When you look at this situation for Paper X as well, the tragedy is they've got every ult online except for Forsakens, which is the one they'd really want in this round.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, because he got Marshall. I would like to see him try and take either the battle on A long or go for the one on C long, because it's something that's been faced quite regularly, and then challenge for the AWP. Because if he can get one kill, get the orb, that's his Blade Storm for the round, then he can change it. Because we've seen, literally one of the clips that was shown in the early video was him acing around with the knives. He's fantastic with them. The thing is though, I don't think that's something that's going to be given up easily. They're almost trying to bait the shot out of RB so somebody can try and swing onto it. It does not work. As said, he may miss a couple, but then he makes up for it.
Yeah, I love that he keeps his dash in his back pocket just so he can go for these super quick peeks around the corner, in fire and out in one swift movement. This is going to be tough for RB, but luckily he's got those up drafts, and it's so hard to connect the shots. He's going to be tagged up down to 13 health, but sitting there with an operator. He just needs to connect one bullet. And his teammates here to back him up. Blade Storm now online, no updraft to play with. He's being closed in on, he's low HP, but he's going out wide. Jing luckily takes him down, but Mako's already made it onto the site. He's backing up the rest of his squad with a 3K. This guy just does not miss. And Tom, that is going to be 8 rounds in the first half for DRX.
I genuinely think that Marco's not even looking for the tournament win. He's looking straight for the MVP. Man is 19-8 in the first half. Incredible performance. And honestly, I want to know if the desk has anyone they think can actually beat this man at this point.
We'll be asking that question in a second. Doug, I just can't help but notice Justice just looked so unhappy that entire half.
The vibes aren't great.
Not great. You okay over there?
I'm going to give you an analogy to get the feeling that I'm feeling right now.
Spit.
Okay.
It's like you get home after a long day at school, work, whatever it is, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, there's cookies in the middle of the table. And you bite in, you got these beautiful chocolate chip cookies, but they're raisins.
Ugh.
They're raisins. They're not chocolate chip. You have been debated. And that's exactly what Paper X has done to me this first half. 100% win rate since January the 1st. They have some of the highest attacking rates in the entire region on Haven. They're undefeated, and they come out and they do that. They put that on display for us. I'm disappointed because I know what they're capable of.
Yeah, you know, we highlight Forsaken. We talked about him at the beginning of the show, and well, for good reason, right? Like, Forsaken has made quite a name for himself, but you're seeing some of these, even like minor mistakes, like dashing onto C, or excuse me, dashing onto A, and while you're dashing, not checking your 50. Right? Like little things like that, doesn't check it. There's nothing, there's no layer to make sure he's getting into the site easily, and he just gets popped. It's those little things that have been really disappointing for me.
I have a big note here. It's in like capital letters on my card here, and it's, you know, Mako's just been absolutely dominating them. But whilst we can highlight Mako and RB for just going nuclear, and we can do that, if you are throwing players in one at a time and giving them freebies, it's going to be easy for mechanically apt players like Mako, like RB, to be able to capitalize on that. I see John go C-long 4 rounds in a row by himself, no tradability, no refragability whatsoever, and Mako's like dead, dead, dead. Of course, because no one's able to trade on Paper X for some reason on this half. This is unusual. I don't understand why we're getting this, but for DRX, this is going to be a walk in the park for them because both of these teams are attacking sided and they move on to their attack.
Alas, poor PRX. Not playing their best. This is surely a test. Let's see how the rest of the half plays.
You almost
Oh my gosh, I was really on a roll there.
Was that off the top?
That was, I actually kind of took notes, but I was like on a roll.
That was still sick.
Yeah,
that
but
was
then I
dope.
ran out. Rest test. Help me.
Rest, test,
Best?
best.
No.
No,
girl.
okay, my bad.
No.
Invest?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right, sorry, I'm giving you
Lest?
rhyming words. Lest.
Doug is just
lest Mako
shaking
continue
He's
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Mako's
It's gonna be a problem.
blessed.
Oh.
Doug
Okay.
is so over us.
Yeah, I
Doug
didn't
is
mind
so over our cringe. But I believe that Tom was saying, like, can anyone outdo Mako? I mean, right now he's just on fire, Doug.
I don't know how anyone does, right? Like, he, as a controller, man, I keep looking at the stats, and then I remember he plays Omen. Like, he's on Omen right now, and he's just having his way with Paper Rex.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hand it over to Mitchum. Sorry, y'all. My rhyme super failed there. I was trying to give them a cute. You know what? I ain't creative. Mitch and Tom, just take it away. I'm done.
I guess it's still not the worst nickname we've had.
Yeah, we can't say that one.
Yeah, we can't. Not on it. Not on it. No, we'll let Sue tweet it out again.
What's your name? Mitch, Tom, but then
Biz,
there's a B,
Tom,
and then
Mitch,
So there's something you can connect there, which we're probably not allowed to say. But yeah, well, we've got ourselves a slight connection issue, so we're just going to be sort of talking a little bit about what we've seen so far in this one.
Actually, we're getting right back into the game.
Never mind.
Never mind all that stuff. This guy's face off the screen. Get the players back in. 15 seconds left on the clock. We're counting down. Of course, we fix our errors very quick. We're not Pampock. 8-4, round 13. We're getting right on into things. And we got a lot of ghosts in play for Paper Rex. They're going to be coming in on the defensive side, but I think they've got a bit of aggression planned.
They're going for the wall bangs off the back. I like it. Trying to predict where some of the players are. It hasn't worked, and you can just see them running straight down in towards A. There is currently nobody there. There is some utility to try and stop them, but well, I'm telling you now, it's probably not going to do the trick. Straight into the site. We already spot them first, but he has a little trip set up just to kill a Barbie in the corner. Wonderful stuff.
This could be a little bit tricky now. This paranoia in play for Mako comes in at the perfect time, but it actually catches Zest. Oh no, he's gone down to it. Paper Rex.
Look, the kills are mine.
In a pretty good spot now. Mako, though, has been huge in the Omens and pistol rounds. They always show up, but this time, Jing deals with him right away. Things falling apart here for the attacking side. They need a hero to step it up, and Buzz does a good job with 2. Here comes the Frenzy, getting the tag, stopping the heal, but there's more than enough players for Paper X to make it work. They'll find this round, and that is definitely a lifeline, one they're more than happy to walk away with, getting 5 on the board.
Yeah, I like that. I like that from Benkai. A little gimmick. It's something that it will likely not work again, but if it wins you a pistol round in a spot like this, it can get you right back into the map. I do think as well, just the fact that DRX had like a slight error, it's always going to be a problem. Like that paranoia does actually catch the majority of the players on the other side, but unfortunately, Forsaken quick enough to react, and from then it's almost just a death ball coming in from Paper X, just like trading out effectively and taking home the pistol.
Yeah, we'll give a lot of credit to Mako, though, in that one. I think that's the first time I've seen him even slightly miss a piece of utility.
It's a big flash.
It is a pretty big flash, I'll say that. Yeah, 8-5. Jumping on into round number 2, and there was a world that I could have seen where DRX come in and force buy, play confident and just try to roll them. But they have played this respectfully. They're taking classics.
They did that versus Zeta, right?
I believe they did, and it makes sense. You know, this is a confident team that even though they don't give away advantages, they are willing to take a few risks, but not this.
They were winning 11-1.
That's the big difference, right? It makes a pretty big difference because you can see letting it slip here, then Paper X hits 7, and things start to get a bit scary. Let's see if the pistols can do any damage. Even up against the shields, it's just going to be so hard to take them down. Evidently not for Zest. He's got 1. That's where things will end. A plant as well as a kill. It's not the end of the world for a full eco, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I'm liking Benkai's Cypher setups. They're just annoying, and that's all you can really hope for if you're a Cypher. Just make it so that you can slow down your opponents, especially in a round like that, survive long enough that the rotations can come through. And now they're going to go into this one as a bonus round. Now, I'll be interested to see what he actually buys up, if it is just going to be maybe a dropped pistol from another teammate, and they'll just try and save back into things. But this is where we basically expect things to change for DRX. They're coming in with the rifle. Stax also already has a Rolling Thunder, as if it wasn't bad enough already. He's been farming up those orbs, so yeah, chances are this should be a round for the Koreans.
Yeah, certainly with the weaponry you even see it's favoring the attack. But that's where Paper X will come in with some interesting ideas, and right away, a lot of aggression on A. 4 players were stacked up, they tried to take fights early, no one's there, and so they're going to smoke it off and leave Mindfreak to hold this control. Actually, he's got a teammate coming. They might decide to push this.
Yeah, they're building up, taking that extra control. Got themselves the paranoia, also rotating in a 3rd player as well. Basically pushing into this little trap that's currently set up for Paper X, and because they've used the further back player almost to try and bait things in, and he's just shot his own teammate. I think a little bit of confusion coming out there, and while DRX eventually just trade out quite effectively.
Not the cleanest of rounds.
Yeah, his mind freaked out on that one, you could say.
It definitely did. Well, DRX are happy to pick this one up. I'm pretty cleanly at that. Just 1 player lost, and it's RB on the way through. Those things, these things happen. These things happen. You know, and I look at Paper X, they have those weak weapons. I like the idea. The setup was disgusting. I mean, the fact that you have the paranoia from Mindfreak, He's tucked in the corner. They take initial contact with Jet. And because Forsaken is there, and he's the only one peeking and destroying the drone, you kind of start to think, oh, maybe he's just alone in this position. You clearly see they do not expect a player on short after they've spotted Mako as well. So the setup was good, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll also see what would have happened if they actually had weaponry as well. Like, it's a very different scenario from normal. Now, the unfortunate fact is, even though that was somewhat of a bonus, the buy that's about to come back up for PaperX is still not a particularly good one. I'm hoping that, like, you're going to have Forsaken actually come into this one with a rifle, but one away from his Bladestorm. He gets a kill, gun goes over, you basically have yourself a full buy going into this round. And they also have some other ultimates that are very, very close. The thing is, though, that Rolling Thunder is still available. And I feel like that's almost by design for DRX. So, okay, let's not use that in a round that we can win comfortably anyway. Let's use it in a round that will basically give them, I guess, the pathway to win the game.
Yeah, well, we've got another tech pause coming in here. Stacks needs a new desk. No, I'm only kidding. It's going to be a quick one.
He needs one per half.
Yeah, where's my attacking desk, bro? What the hell? That'd be an interesting.
He has stacks of them at home.
Oh, God. Well, now I regret making that joke. Okay, well, when we jump back into things, as you said, you know, PaperX are going to be coming through with a decent amount of weaponry, but yeah, there are weaknesses there. It's possible to make that work on the attack, and we've seen it before. On the defense, though, those weaknesses are going to be something that DRX try to lean on hard.
Yeah, well, even just by the small amount we can see within the map, I assume, again, this is going to be a very aggressive position. Yep. Like I said, basically what I want to see is either Forsaken grab the orb, then hand the gun over to someone else, or just go for those headshots. And that's the thing. He is a win condition for this squad. He always has been. Like, some of the games that we saw them compete in last time, where they actually managed to battle versus some of the better teams within the tournament, like all the way back at Masters, a lot of it came down to like him having an incredible performance, and we know that he can. Right now, he's bottom of the board for his team. And as said, like if that's one of your win conditions, that's your superstar. That's the guy that pops off. That's the guy that's in all the clips. He can't be at the bottom of the board. I know it almost sounds like a bit of a harsh statement, especially when a lot of the time on the attack, his job is to dash into angles and take the space. So I think on the defense, this is where we now need to see that fragging power out from him. And hopefully at some point, the operator as well.
Well, we'll see whether that comes to pass or not. For now, PaperX kicking things off with this mixed buy. Forsaken going to have an opportunity to play in the corner that RB found so much value from. Same position over on short. Jing picking up one, and they're going to fade out, give up the control on the back of that man advantage now in the defender's hands.
Yeah, unfortunately no weapon to be reclaimed, and because of the current setup, they almost have to try and re-aggress and do a little bit more. Like, these duelists need to be popping if they're going to have a chance to win the round. They might actually be able to catch them by surprise. Look how far up they've gone! They've pushed all the way in. They know he's in the corner. Who's pulling out a drone? Who's expecting anybody to go back through short? Still, though, the trades are good. Keeping it back into a 3 versus 2. They don't expect re-aggression from Divine. They are just fighting this entire corner of the map. And it might have had some weaknesses in this purchase, but they make it work fantastically well.
Yeah, really clean stuff for them. Coming into this round, you know, you got to go for some aggression in a round like that. You got to try to take space, because otherwise, if you sit back, once they figure out, oh, hey, Seaside's actually only got a sheriff, you know, they're exploding on that. They're taking them down. And so instead, they take the fight right to them, and it works out gorgeously. Devi getting the double here. The re-aggression was not expected out of RB.
No, of course not.
It's exactly what PaperX need, though. Some of these plays you just pull out at the last moment, full confidence, swing in. You can't do it every round, but it's what how DRX started their defensive side as well. Remember, we had a bunch of rounds where these guys were going aggressive, taking these duels. Hell, I don't think I saw a single round where RB wasn't either pushing short or pushing a long. I might have seen a few, but that's where they all went mid and spammed a wall or something like that and tried to push down together. The aggression's been really nice to look at so far over on the defensive side, and PaperX with a good display of it now force their opponents into a corner a little bit.
Yeah, I think the only worry for me for PaperX is, firstly, DRX have always been very good at defaulting. I think that catching them off guard like that was a bit of a surprise. I don't think that will happen too many times. And the problem with this sort of composition is a lot of the time you like to do what was on the other side. Like, you'll take some map control, you'll battle for it sometimes, you'll put aggressively like that sometimes, but then you'll have these more passive holds, like, for example, a few rounds later where RB was playing the operator from the site. The issue with the current composition for PaperX they don't have anywhere near as much to play with. Like, you don't have yourself Killjoy utility to try and get you back in. You don't have yourself stacks to have all of these sort of little pops of utility to sort of make the space if you need to retake. In fact, the retakes on the other side would still revolve around either a Paranoia being popped and then someone running in and killing everyone. So you almost still have to have this aggression for Paper X in the majority of the round. So if it's like one and done or 50-50, DRX win the map.
Yep, that's a really good point. I think stacks is the key element. Having
They're already going again.
Oh, Nanoswarm down. The players are trapped. Jing has no choice but to continue forward. The Hunter's Fury will at least trade out, taking down Buzz. There's a flank coming through. Mind Freak's got the spike, and RB is just trapped down on long. Paranoid up as well. A gorgeous round from Paper X. We compliment the aggression on the defensive side, but they have just taken it to a whole nother level.
That was insane. And now RB, he's left to try and pick up the pieces. 70 HP, and he's locked in. He's got 2 players just sat up high. They're going to try and play from different headshot angles, so a transition of the peak, and he's not even going to look in the right direction, not expecting them to be there. I like the adaptation, though, for Paper X, because you look at just the initial 2 players running up there, insane. Like, that's insane. That's not a good play. But the fact that the flank was so fast, because the rest of the players on DRX are like, ah! We got him this time, and then they get killed in the back because they don't know he's coming.
I mean, they called attack pause. The entire point of that was so that they could figure out how to stop them from taking the control that has been fought for on both sides of the spike. You look at that short play, they thought the Nanoswarm would be the answer, and it got there as fast as it damn well could, but they just went running through. And with the Hunter's Fury to back them up in the mid flank, it makes sense why they're playing so aggressive. That's DRX. They came in, they're like, all right, we've got a plan, and you just got ruined.
Ooh,
Paper X, need to be careful of this Blade Storm for sure. It's coming up, but Mind Freak's gonna slip in through the Cloudburst. Hello! Only one to be found though. The trades come in quickly, and DRX are now ahead.
Yeah, this is a round just stacked with ultimates for DRX. They may not have the weaponry, but they're managing to retrieve it. Jing, he dissipates within seconds, and then the trade comes through. Instead, it's left all on to Buzz, trying to clutch this one out. Just a pistol in hand, and it's not quite going to be enough. 38 HP. An incredible attempt for DRX, but Paper X will hold.
You know, Paper X come into this series, and I don't really know who to pin as favorites. I'm glad that we're ending up. DRX, they come ahead by quite a bit, I suppose, in a lot of people's eyes, but the hype around Paper X has been immense. Still, though, there's no secret that they're not coming in as, you know, the top dogs here, but they're making it look like they're here to compete. DRX are insane on the attack, and look at that match, the round history. 5 out of the 6 rounds so far going to Paper X, and it's been the adaptations. It's not like they're just getting lucky or have these little corner plays that aren't being checked. They have got a consistent and constantly changing game plan that's getting them the wins. I'm loving it, and now they're coming up against DRX on a full buy, so it's going to be a little bit different, though. A bigger challenge for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to more come down to how DRX actually adapt. Because right now, Paper X are doing a lot of things that are incredibly surprising. Like, if you're used to playing, like, incredibly well-structured, slow Valorant, you have these defaults, you have your set plays, and then you go to do your set play, and there's someone in a smoke stood there waiting with a rifle when they know you're against pistols. When you have them use this Empress to just run back in and escape out of there, and while he's escaping, the other player runs back through on the timing to catch you off guard. That's what this looks like right now. DRX are trying to adapt, trying to come up with nice little set plays, and then they're going, sorry, you're not allowed in. Right? The bodyguards come through it. You don't know what to do in that scenario. You don't know how to react. The worry, though, is that round was still incredibly close, even off just the small pieces that were there. That was 2 ultimates and pistols, and they almost win it. 38 HP is the only difference from that round going in the other direction. So it means that in comparison to what we saw from the 6 rounds that DRX were able to win, there isn't a big bank sat there where you can buy for the next 2 rounds, then have ultimates to back you up. Well, the ultimates on Paper X side suck. So you don't have the same wiggle room. You have to keep winning these rounds, and, well, hopefully for them, they need to win them a little bit cleaner.
Hiding from the camera. It's conceal the oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He's back. A little bit of a tech pause going down again. You know, I made the joke about Pampok earlier. They're going to be smiling at home now, aren't they?
Yeah, you did this yesterday as well.
Yeah.
And then we started getting a load, and I called it at the time, and then you decided to do it again.
Yeah, I was feeling cocky today, Tom.
You feel cocky every day.
Yeah,
that's what I've realized.
I know.
You're way too overconfident.
I'm going to be right someday. Someday. But yeah, at this point, I'm sure DRX will be taking a moment to really really put some thought into this next round because they're going to put all their economy on the line. They're at 9-9. PaperX can steal that victory back out from under their feet. And you know, this was looking incredibly good for DRX. They come in, sure, they lose the pistol, but they even won their buy-up in the third round. And with the 8-4 half they already had, it should be clean for them, but not so much.
We got some info.
Okay, go on, Tom.
It's another rollback, unfortunately. Client minimized while the players were actually running in towards the site, so it is going to be 9-8 to DRX. They're going to come in with the pistols once again, and we're going to have to replay the previous round. So having a few issues. It's all been sorted in terms of how things have gone in terms of the rules. So that round will be replayed. There'll be another attempt for DRX to try and do as much as they could with those pistols, with those ultimates, and see if they can do some damage. Because that's the thing that I wanted to highlight going into the round itself, is that weaponry-wise, they're going to be in a really bad spot, but that ult stack up from DRX is a terrifying force. Like, not only do you have yourself a Blade Storm, Rolling Thunder, you got the lockdown, which we actually saw them use in an afterplant position previously, but they're also one away from the 2 remaining ults. So a 5 ult round, it may sound silly, using five ults in one round? Tom, that's ridiculous. If you can win it and set your economy up and destroy the economy of PaperX, 100% worth it.
Yeah, they can definitely get out of here with a huge amount of damage. Again, though, the challenge is going to be resetting into it. Do you run the same strategy again, or do you go somewhere else? Last time we saw the brakes be pumped by PaperX, and certainly didn't have the same pace out of them coming into the replay. It's also a pretty tough position for the players. You know, it's not easy to keep being bouncing back and forth like that. But like we said, this is a team in DRX that have shown again and again that they are able to keep themselves composed, not just when losing, when winning. And that's one of the hardest things. So you get overconfident, you start to give away advantages, and even at 11-1 in the game the other day, these guys, they were playing it like it was match point for the other team. They were trying to make a comeback happen at 11-1 advantage. Now as we come back into this, PaperX back down to 8. They're not equalized up, but they get a second chance at this round, and I'm sure they're going to look at this in a positive light because they lost a lot in the previous. They survived with one player, and as you said, it was what, 38 HP or 68? Yeah. It was a very low amount of health, 38. And so now coming into this one, they'll hope they can win this a little cleaner.
Get out of my way!
Jing is just walking, but they're not changing the pace. I like this. Straight down. Why? About to come into pressure. This time he does lose the battle with the pistol. That's the site completely lost. And remember, they've got this Blade Storm. Now for the opposing team, it almost looks like a retake scenario, but remember how many ults are currently still online.
You should run.
The plant is safe. Down goes the lockdown for DRX. Paranoia ready for Mako. He's hearing steps. He's contemplating firing it off and trying to take these players down. And he knows they'll be making a step forward any moment. Now Rolling Thunder coming through. That's a great connection, but Mako can't see a thing. He's taken down by Jing, who gets a double, even stunned up. PaperX are on their way back in, and with weaker weapons, most of these players don't stand a chance. Stax goes forward for one, and RB's all alone. He's got a 1v1 for a moment, but with the classic in hand, it's not an easy fight to win. In the end, it's not that much of a change from what we saw happen previously. With PaperX getting the defuse, they'll have 2 players surviving this time.
Yeah, but I think a lot more ultimates were actually burnt up in the attempt. So, yeah, again, it's not that different a result, but you also see the Rolling Thunder go out, and, well, it's just Jing's ability to correct, but also his leer, which is not something I ever thought I'd say, that his leer saved his life there. Just being able to blind him up in the corner.
You're going to have a message, man. You're going to have a message after this one. Leer MVP.
Leer MVP. Yeah, the leer was the best piece of utility in that entire round.
I've seen many rounds like that. I remember one on Breeze. The leer was just amazing for all the assists on the walkout. God, been a while since we've seen that kind of impact come through. Right, 9-9 as we get back into things. The full buy up for both teams. Same scenario for DRX as we had previously set up. They're investing all their economy here and now, and we're fighting for the lead. Someone's about to hit double digits, and PaperX, they're not looking for that same early aggression that has been a staple of this defensive side so far. Instead, they're holding back. The problem here is Forsaken with the up. Oh, he's scoped in, and RB takes that one easily. Great control. He's just running it down. The blind was so good, and they're so confident that it connects.
They're actually trying to continue their push forward in towards this seaside, but they've eliminated everybody along the way. The only man left is going to be Bankai, locked out of the site. That was crisp from DRX, but a lot of it comes down to the setup. Like the fact that, I don't know if they destroyed some piece of utility there, but I don't think there was anything there to actually stop that. So it was just almost a complete gamble that no one was going to try and challenge that smoke.
Yeah, it's a really strange one. You know, if you've got a trap wire down there at the start of the round or something, even if it gets destroyed, you almost expect Jet to fall back and not take that kind of an angle. It's so risky with the smoke that was down. And then when you consider the fact that I believe that was Mako's smoke, right? So there's clearly some intention behind that play. And I guess for PaperX, they really hope that the intention was someone coming out window and trying to get some control. But DRX had a much better plan to back that up. 10-9 now. Luckily, PaperX had the bank to buy back up here. But if they lose this one, then things get very scary.
They just about, because even then, you've still got yourself a Spectre, of course. If you throw in an Empress,
3 players light shields
the worst thing. Yeah, the light shields being thrown in. Doesn't look like there's a drone unless it was already... Oh, no, it's being used right now. That's why there's no drone. And actually, it's going to be used on the other side as well to try and force Forsaken out, getting him out of position, instantly going in with the fault line, but they're not actually pressuring. And this doesn't actually force a rotation. Interestingly, seeing nothing into mid and him not being pushed has moved or shifted their setup towards this seaside. DRX will think this is a lot clearer than it is.
Paranoia through again, the dismiss afterwards. Mindfreak in a bit of a tough spot. He's being pushed down and eliminated, but there's players here to back him up. Buzz does well to find the double, and PaperX will keep on fighting, brawling for the site. The spike down, things were looking scary, but they have the TP, they pick it up, and they get onto the A site for free. That's a plant in for DRX, but a man disadvantage now extended into 2.
Well, it's up to the star. Marco has had an incredible tournament, an incredible map so far, but winning in this 1 versus 3 scenario, spotting that there's nobody left on the flank, to try and utilize the smoke to at least give him a little bit of an angle to try and fight onto the spike. You can see them slowly clearing things out. They've even put a trip within that smoke just to see if he's hiding there, but he's watching to see if anybody's going to attempt to run through it. Mako with an opportunity for the first duel, manages to hit the shot, looking for a little more, but Benkai will be there to trade. No opportunity to clutch out that round, and an incredible read from PaperX.
Really nicely done with double digits on both sides. That's PaperX at least securing themselves a little bit more runway coming into this, but the way DRX have been going, there's just no eco coming, man. They've got to fight for every single round, and that's what starts to happen when you trade rounds back and forth like that. Coming into round number 21, you just take a quick check-in on where the ultis are at, and the big play for DRX has been a big conversational topic. The explosive ultimates that they have to play with, this time they'll be coming in with nothing, but even when you see PaperX, excuse me, with 2 online,
But there was another stat. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was something like DRX, depending on the ultimates that they were using, were winning something like 80% of rounds. Now, obviously, they've dominated the first couple of maps, or matches that they played, so it's a little bit skewed.
It got him! That shock dart got him! Hit him for like half health, just double bouncing around. That's gotta be so annoying. Forsaken does well to get out of there. I think that's almost a mistake on Stax not being ready for that, not being able to trade that quickly.
I think it's because he had Spike, he backed off.
Yeah, and also, I guess, it's so hard to get the read that he's that close. He can't dash out safely, and if he does swing and there's a second player there, lose Spike, round's almost over immediately. So he plays it passive. It's probably the right call. Good flash to push Forsaken off the angle, but it doesn't work. This time it does, though. He's stuck, and now he's stunned and down!
So
the updraft missed, and it cost him his life.
Benkai also stunned at the back of the site for a second. He's got to try and hold this alone. Manages to drop the spike, but he can't get anything more. There is a flank again. There's always a flank. And it always seems to be Mindfreak. A 1 versus 2 scenario. Not a whole lot of utility to try and deal with him. The turret will give a little bit of extra space, but he's going to use the smoke again to try and isolate. They just picked it up and walked away. He's seen it disappear, but they don't have to go for anything in this side of the map. They're just sprinting to try and reset this brawl onto either B or C.
And he hears both sets of steps fading away from him, knowing now that these guys are leaving. As he was hot on their tail, and he's not really going to be too cautious on the way through B, but he has to be careful of spawn. You've seen Buzz tuck in there. Freak will clear it, but that's such a tough off angle to clear. And oh, he's gone in through Garage. But with DRX going back and holding this control together, they have such a strong position, a lockdown to play with that's unlikely to go through in a 2v1. But the round that's in it.
Yeah, they could use it just to confirm if they really wanted to. But it seems like they're just going to try and play this one together halfway through. Mindfreak, he's managed to get it most of the way. Could just stick this. He doesn't know where the second player is coming from, but he's bought himself the time. He's going to hear the footsteps. Now playing ring around the Rosie. The peek coming through. Resist! And he gets stuck on the box. Mindfreak manages to win a scenario, which it just looked impossible. And he will get himself that Red Bull clutch.
He started the round on C, and he ends it there as well, using his teleport to get behind them, flanking up on A. And what a play it was. Look at this. They had no idea the distraction from the side as everyone else is dueling. He picks up one kill, lets them have the spike, follows them all the way through. That was a beautiful play by Mindfreak. And with 11 rounds on the board, they've actually finally pushed DRX into a position where they don't really have money. This is them set up to push to map point potentially, or it's DRX what they look to be doing, force buying. If they lose this round, Tom, PaperX will have 2 chances to close it out, starting with a very low buy. That paranoia was very ambitious.
Yeah, he's just gone straight through, and they're getting decimated because of it. Jing will be able to dismiss out of position. He's got a teammate to support. He's going to go for a kill and try and get out of there. Never mind. He's just going to go for the whole team. He might be able to dismiss away from the Killjoy ult, but he can't. It's not going to be there, and he falls instead. Buzz will take him down, but it might not matter. It's now left on to Buzz, and Buzz alone.
We can talk about the impact of Reyna. We can say, yeah, you know what? You don't really bring a lot to your team unless you're dueling. Well, yeah, but he did a pretty good job there. Single-handedly winning that one out, or at least putting them into a winnable position. The information to play with Buzz. I mean, he knows he can plant it at this stage. It's going to be for long. Alarm bot still to play with, turret coming online as well. The players are quick. Oh, they're not giving him any space whatsoever. Knowing exactly where he is. The jump overheard, the double peek coming through. And PaperX with some textbook Valorant there. But really, Jing just, I don't know how he got away with so much.
Yeah, it's one of those classic like plays when there's a lockdown and your opponent goes, oh, he'll fall back now, right? He'll fall back now. But it even seemed like they were ready for him to re-peek that and swing on the trade, but he just lands every single headshot that's put in front of him. There's a reason that this guy was brought into the team and that they're risking playing a composition that involves a double duelist. I think a lot of people at this point know it is not the greatest like composition to be running, but this kid is good enough that it is.
A lot of people will pin DRX as the favorites. We saw the poll earlier on, 70%
I think you'd be
roughly.
mad not to.
Absolutely, yeah. And with 70% of the Valorant audience swinging towards DRX, this is definitely an upsetting start for that side. I'm looking at the ults here. Rolling Thunder, Bladestorm to work with. It's the Rolling Thunder I expect to see come through to take some space. PaperX are not playing passive for it. These guys are trying to duel in middle. There's 3 players here fighting away, but DRX, they take it a different direction, running through Garage. That is nasty, though. Mindfreak being pushed down here. The Rolling Thunder's completely avoided. In fact, the only person it connects on is Mako inside the ultimate, and look who's right behind them. Only the one to be found for Forsaken, but Jing's here! A double, the dismissed of